Okay, the time is 5:30. Calling the meeting to order of the Golf Course Advisory Board on Wednesday, January the 4th, 2023. First item on the agenda is roll call. Present.
Present. Present. Present. Present. Present.
Do a motion to excuse absent members.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Moved and second, to excuse absent members, so in agreement, signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2, administrative approval of minutes of November the 8th, 2022, regular call meeting. Do we have a motion for approval?
I so moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And moved and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Item B is revenue report for the month of November of 2022.
Month of January, November.
Good evening, gentlemen. Michael Furnick, Golf Course Manager, Tierra del Sol, City of Pharr. Revenue report for the month of November. Revenues at $106,074.96 compared to November of prior year of $118,712.10. Special thing of special item, gentlemen, we experienced our first cold front in November. After the 15th, we were trending to have a really good month in November. As an example, if we take a look at the first half of the month, first 15 days, we were at $68,000 this past November compared to $59,000 in 2021. So there was a significant impact of the weather the latter part of November.
Yeah, and it lasted for a few days too. Okay. We have a motion for approval of the report, revenue report.
It requires a motion.
It's an action item.
So doesn't really have to have a,
I'll make the motion.
but it's better we go ahead and approve the report.
Yes, sir. I'll make the motion to approve the item B on the agenda.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Item C is the golf course operation report for the month of January 2023.
Yes, sir. Just going down through the list, gentlemen. For the golf course, we did, because of the change of weather and the cold front, so on, we had fire ant mounds pop up, so on. So those have been spot treated and taken care of as we go along each day. We don't do a broadcast treatment. It's basically all spot based on the mounds. We are looking at doing a broadcast application in addition to our fertilizer program, or the year leading the year after our renovation. Speaking of renovations, restroom on number 14 has been completed. We did have some green damage, as you can see by the two pictures that are included in your packet, on two particular greens and on specific dates for December 12th and December 19th. Not much we can do once a divot is taken out of a green, except if we can find the divot and replace it. It's kind of just like, a Band-Aid. We'll throw the divot back in there and tap it down and add sand to it. And hopefully it comes in quicker, sooner rather than later. This time of year, it takes a while for grass to recuperate, so on and so forth, because we're kind of in our dormant season. But when that happens, all you can do is just give it time. And hopefully it doesn't, hopefully, it's not in anybody's way as far as putting goes. So on. So unfortunately, that has happened. Could not catch the culprits that did it, but I was notified the day of by certain individuals that do come out and play regularly, and there was again that we could not catch the individuals that did it. We installed the Ladies Golf Association requested a walkway from the cart path to their ladies tee box on number 5. The walk up has deteriorated from grass and got into dirt and mud, so on. So we installed a walkway for them. It's not very long, but it's convenient for the ladies. We laid down additional crushed granite around the clubhouse and the Hall Acre median. Contracted removal of some dead trees behind 10 Green. That has since been completed. The 2 large trees on either side of the cart path were pretty much dead, and the limbs of the trees were falling down, and more or less it became a safety hazard, so we took care of that. Public Works came out and added some, I guess you can call it rift-raff, call it some shore lining to our irrigation pond on number 10. Over the years, that has eroded into getting closer to the homeowner's property, so on. So in order to keep that from erosion, we added that in there, just to keep it from eroding. We will begin spraying herbicide to eliminate the winter weeds that have come up. We will take during the cold weather, so on, and that'll include the green surround, tees, and some places in the rough. And we repaired 2 6-inch valves, 2 6-inch lines. I'm sorry, 2 6-inch lines on holes 3 and 16. These are main water lines, and when this happens, we have to shut down the water to the entire hole, so on. We cannot spot it, just shut off till we get it repaired, so on. For the clubhouse, we continue to struggle with people walking on the golf course, so on. We are getting more volunteers in, and we are putting them in the afternoons, so on. So hopefully that'll curb some of the infractions that we have going on in the afternoon. Important date, important here as of December 15th, we had 109 total winter Texans signed up for a seasonal pass, so on. Last year's numbers, we were at 102, so we were slightly ahead of last year's numbers, and I guess not say they were, but they are coming in. They did come in earlier, like people thought, and we also had at the beginning this month 6 or 7 new ones that are not included in this, so on. So that is a good sign. I will get you a full-blown detail on our number of seasonal members at our next February meeting, because that'll be probably the height of the season, and it'll be good to know, how it compares to last year. Credit card surcharge of 2.5%, that was implemented to offset the credit card company's fees. There's been little or no customer resistance or questions on that. And for those of you that may have had questions or people that talked to you about our online tea time issue, We were having issues with that by people not being able to use it. And that problem has been solved with the upgrade of our server, courtesy of the IT department. No rhyme nor reason there, gentlemen. The system would work for a short period of time, then lose connection, so on. So it was determined that they just needed to upgrade it. So that's what happened here towards the end of December. So we're up and running on that. No issue since. So everybody can now use the online tea time version on a regular basis if they so desire. And that is pretty much the status report for the golf course.
Mike, when did we start the 2.5%? When did we
Pardon
start
me?
that?
That was a citywide, that came from the finance department. And
water
that was a
bill.
citywide,
We got that on our water bill 2 months ago.
that
so
was
I'm
a
assuming that's what
citywide
happened.
directive, I guess the best way to put it, for all departments that collect
It
credit
started
cards.
October the 1st or what?
Some departments started before that. I shouldn't say started before that. October 1st was the start date. Some departments, from what I understand, were able to start. We didn't get ours going till the first part of December.
Oh, good. That was going to be my question.
So-
I paid for the
so-
entire year.
'Cause if you
Nobody
ta-
told me that I was
Yeah,
paying
so if you
2.5.
take- I believe that was
Well,
this
look, I think there were
incident.
transactions after that day.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Well,
gentlemen.
I paid in November. I think.
No, I apologize, gentlemen. Partway through November, it did hit, because I'm looking at November's sales reports, and the credit card surcharge is listed as a line item on our report. So
So
it
that's not
happened.
gonna be a revenue. That's
No,
gonna
it's
be an
not. We
offset by the expense itself.
Correct. We take,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, if we look at our revenue sales for the month, we don't even include that.
Oh.
We take it out.
No, but I feel it.
Hmm?
No, but I feel it. When
Sure
I
you
paid
do.
1,700 with my credit
Yep.
card, nobody told me that I was getting charged 250. I could have written you a check.
It is posted. It was posted. We had it posted since October 1 to let people know. Whether or not it verbally got communicated is another
Yeah,
story.
I think that's something that you need to make sure in every transaction you tell them.
We're charging
There
you.
is a charge in the credit card, that's okay with you, just so they'll know.
We'll put a sign someplace, we'll
Yeah.
put a sign in front of the register,
But,
tell them that there's a surcharge.
but I hate to go to a business and they charge me that.
Yeah.
If they don't tell me if I have cash, I can pay it. If they didn't tell me that I'm gonna be charged, and then I see it on, when they charge it, I
Yeah,
said,
you see it
why
on the
you
credit
charging?
card.
Does that make you happy?
No,
Yeah,
it
very
pisses me
happy.
off because I wanna know ahead of time.
Well,
If I
no,
need to pay
agreed.
cash, I can
We
pay
have
cash.
noticed, by the way, word of mouth has gotten out about that, and we have noticed a increase of cash, so on, an increase of cash, especially for, the people at the seasonal.
So let me ask you a question. So if I go and I buy a round of golf, it's
Yeah.
2.5%. Then I buy a shirt, 2.5%. Then I go buy tacos and a beer, it's 2.5%.
Every time you use your
Every
credit
time
card.
you use your credit card,
It's like
so on,
anywhere
no
else,
matter
you're
the
gonna get
dollar
charged off.
amount,
Well,
it's 2.5%.
Yes and no. A lot of businesses absorb that cost
Yeah.
because the volume of money that comes in from customers.
Mhm.
If you make $100,000 in revenue, right? Then you could
2.5,
say,
yeah.
can we afford to absorb that so that the customer doesn't feel the hit? And some places do that. So the smaller mama papa ones, you see them, we have to charge you 2.5%.
Yeah.
The tax office charges you, if you pay with your credit card, 2.5%, because the county says, we're not gonna cover that.
Yeah,
But
that's
they
true.
tell it to you on your bill. It's flagged.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I don't mind. I'm sorry.
No, that's,
I don't mind if it's a $30 or $40 charge to 2.5, but I'm paying $1,700. That's.
of course, that's not up to him.
No, I know.
No.
It's a city
Yeah.
policy, but had I known, I would have written you a check.
Agree.
Yeah, when we
But
got
as
that on
far as
our
your-
water bill, we used to have it automatic. Then they said, hey, we're gonna pay 2.5%. So they allowed us to do a draft.
Which I do.
Okay, so if you do a draft, then that waives at 2.5% because it's not through credit card, it's through your checking account.
Exactly. I do that.
So if you do it like that, then you avoid having to do the 2.5%.
Yeah.
Very true. And one of the question was asked is not only credit cards, but debit cards. Does it fall under debit cards? Yes, it does.
Oh, even on a debit card?
Yeah, debit card.
Gee.
You're processing.
And do we have
Wow.
a sign up there, Mike? Do we have a sign
On the
up there?
register?
Yes.
We
We have the letter. The
No,
memo, the
but-
memo
but-
from the city
Yeah.
finance department in, right
No.
there at the cash register. We do have the memo. Do we
Yes.
have it in big bold letters? No, but we do have the memo.
Yeah, we have that clear plastic in front. Maybe we
Yes.
could do a little printout, say,
Yeah,
know,
we
you get in
do. I
charge.
thought that's to the left, but yes, we'll take a look tomorrow and make sure that it's more visible than what it already is.
Yeah, because people are in a hurry. They're not gonna stop and read a
I
letter, you
didn't-
know?
I
Most
Yeah.
people
I
don't
never
even
do.
sign their credit card receipts. They say, no, I'm good.
Oh, they don't want the receipt, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Well,
like
they-
me, I don't have to sign it, so I said, throw it away.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll take a look and make sure that is more noticeable.
But nobody
for the-
has,
for the
nobody has
customers.
said anything. How long has that been?
If you don't mind,
November. November,
Well, but he says word of mouth, people already know.
yes.
Saw 'em, I didn't know.
Oh, you did?
No, I pay with
See,
debit.
2.5.
Not unless you see a receipt, then you'll know.
You know it.
So
And
that's what I'm
why
saying.
we're- correct.
You might tell your staff that they need to tell people as they're paying with a credit card. Not everybody, but
No
just
traigo el recibo.
start telling them
Yo nunca
so that
guardo.
somebody else will listen as well and hear that.
Yeah.
And make it very obvious that that's what we're doing.
So my question is, and I know, when you do with a debit card, because it goes straight to your bank account, I haven't seen that charge in other places. Are you sure it, to the debit card, you get the 2.5%?
Yes.
Are you sure, or is it only a credit card
No,
transaction?
because I use my debit card then when I buy a taco, whatever, and
And
yes,
you do your PIN and they get charged 2.5%?
Yeah.
I've had that, yeah.
I don't know. David.
Would that affect a bucket of balls, $9?
No,
Cash,
$9
$9
but
versus.
range balls are tax
Credit
exempt.
card, papito.
No, but this is the fee. No,
That's
this,
the fee.
if they use the
Oh,
credit card
yes.
to purchase the bucket of balls,
Debit card.
every
Yeah.
transaction,
Even a debit card.
even
Yes.
everything.
So
Well, that's a
2.5%.
city policy, but at least if we are aware of it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was enacted, it was enacted to offset the processing fees, so on. And you can see if you look on November, just as an example,
Por eso,
Oh,
sí.
just as an example, it was close to $700 collected in the short period of time in November. If you
Yeah.
want to know about exactly how the December credit card transactions are basically $2,000,
Damn.
and that was a full month. So you can see
Okay.
where the reasoning for that was implemented.
Okay. Well, I think we have enough discussion on that, but, did anybody have any comments on the operation?
Mr. Chairman, I've got a few.
Okay.
And first off, I'll start with a positive one. The bathroom on number 13 looks absolutely fabulous. The paint is great. That was looking ratty. But I've got some concerns, and they're not just my concerns. They're concerns that are expressed by our members, the Winter Texans, the regular folk. And I've been writing a few down as they direct. I don't know what they direct at me, whether they think I can do anything or not, but I can surely bring it up to the attention of the superintendent and the director. On that, and I'm going to start with your report. That tree on number 10, how much did we pay
There were
to get it removed?
There were 2 trees. Total bill came to 2 trees, and topping off the one on the left side came to, and cutting down, getting rid of, was $3,200.
It took them 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
The city can't do that, like another department?
I have no idea. I'm just saying that, I'm wondering who did it and why did it take them so long? And I guess we have public works, we have Parks and Rec.
You can't use them, Mike? Like, say it's something that, like water pipe or
Sometimes-
brush, or can you use, like another department instead of calling in?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It depends on the height of the tree, because we do reach out on certain occasions, and sometimes they'll say, that's beyond what we can do, height-wise, so on and so forth. So then and depending on how time of year and how busy it is, so on, sometimes it's better just to have somebody come in and privately do it versus the city.
Is that the sometime in this particular example?
And there's this one, yeah, correct.
You did reach out to them and they said,
On this one, I just went ahead because it was about the same height as a previous tree that we had to bring somebody in around number 17, so on. So FIA made the decision that let's just get somebody in here rather than waste time. Let's get somebody in here and get it over with.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I can continue,
Go
your marshals, how many do we have?
Good question. Let me think off the top of my head.
About 5, maybe?
No, five starters, or maybe 11 or 12.
Serious?
Yeah.
Well,
We got a starter.
you're talking about starters. Well, I can
The
understand that.
The starters and marshals are two different entities.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Starters and marshals are two different entities. We basically have a starter from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, Monday through Sunday.
That I have seen.
Time permitting. And then we have, on certain days, we have marshals that are either working 8 to 12 or 12 to 4.
Okay. And they're all volunteers.
Yes.
Okay. My next question is, and it's not a question, it's an observation. As you know, I play a lot, and since I'm a member, sometimes I go pick up my mail and play 2-3 holes and come back. If I'm not in anyone's way. And I just wanted you to know that I don't call all the time. But I never see those guys filling in divots on the fairways, or they don't use the little machine on the greens. I see them riding around
You
lots.
come out and see them on an afternoon, 12 to 4. I get after some of them because we got play going on and we got something happening on the side of the golf course, and I find them out filling divots on hole number 16. So, yeah, that's a catch-22. It's depending on where you are and they are. Does it happen all the time? I would like for them to pay more attention to pace of play and everything else, especially when we're busy, rather than filling in divots and what have you, and doing tee boxes also, filling in, using sand on the tee boxes too. So it's on any given day at any given time, but they are doing sanding divots out there. Yes.
Okay. And in return for let's say half-day work, they get what?
They get 1 round of golf.
1 round of golf.
Every 4-hour shift equals 1 round.
Okay. I'd like to see these marshals, the ones in the field, not the ones, the
Not
starter. Because I tell you, Mike, I seriously have never seen, other than Joe Lozano, carry that little stick for the greens. And I see the buckets in the back with sand.
Mhm.
Now, do I see them get down or even lean over? No, sir.
Well,
So is there any one that kind of keeps an eye on them?
do we have
A supervisor
like a
of them?
crew leader or anything
Yeah.
else like that? No. Besides myself,
Besides
so on, because we have some. Again, this, beggars can't be choosers. We have a hard time finding marshals and starters, on a volunteer basis. But there's some out there that are, well, best way to say, they're not part of the solution. They add to the problem, let's say. Okay. So let's just leave that one as it is, because, unfortunately, that's the way it is. We do have some people like that. So, whether those people will return or be asked to come back, because it's a volunteer, right?
Yeah,
So,
I
we
understand, but
have
they're
total-
getting
yeah,
something in
yeah,
return
yeah.
for their,
We have total
work.
control whether or not they come back or are asked to come back, so on. So we take a look at that we take a look at that after each year.
Okay. The other one, your staff outside, the mowers and the weeders and all that stuff. You know, and I'm not the only one that's complained. I've heard it from a lot of the Winter Texans that, you know, like on Wednesdays, it's one team after another every
Boom,
hole.
boom, boom. Yeah.
Okay. But these guys stop, and I'll give you an example. On number 6, they'll move over to the corner. There's three teams coming up. They'll get on their phone, you know, instead of going someplace else where they're not they're not even bothering people,
Yeah.
you know, but they sit out there, and I've seen a bunch of them on their tractors, on their phones, and listen, I don't work, and I still spend 2 or 3 hours on the telephone, screen time, you know, and so we're talking about, you give them 8 hours and they're spending 2 hours on the telephone. Why can't we have them wear like a something to communicate with the other workers and staff inside the clubhouse
They're
instead,
not
and take their phones?
Yeah.
Or make them turn
Well,
them
they're
off.
not on the, they're not on the phone to communicate with the pro shop
No.
or stuff like that. They've got their own. And very good question. And I don't think, you know, in our defense, I don't think we're the only department within the city that has this issue.
But
I don't, but,
no, I know,
but
but
it's
we're
more wide,
this
but it's
department.
more widely seen. How do you go about controlling it besides having a policy in place? No personal cell phones during work time. You know, I can look, we can look into that. I don't know what the ramifications of that would be, so on with HR and so on and so forth. So again, I'd have to look into that, but I have no qualms or questions about trying to enact something like that, especially, you know, if it's being abused. During lunch, yes, obviously they can. During their 2 15-minute breaks,
Sure.
they should be able to. But the problem with that is that then you're leaving it up to them to
Police
follow,
themselves.
to police themselves within that time frame of 2 15-minute breaks or
I'm
and or
just
a half
saying,
hour lunch.
Mike,
But
I'm just
totally
saying that
agree.
if there's a way that we can cut down on their usage, a staff meeting or something, and say, look,
Okay,
if I hear a complaint from one of my my customers,
there you go.
you know,
We can start there. We can start there with the staff meeting, so on, as far as mentioning to the guys, hey, there's been some concerns or some questions about the use of personal phones, so on. So we can start there. Absolutely.
okay, may I? I'm gonna continue with your employee. Is it okay?
By all means. I think,
Yeah. How many employees do you have other than the superintendent outside? I mean, I'm talking mechanics and, you know, guys that mow. What's the total?
18, 19
That
county
many?
cart guys outside.
No.
Mechanic-
The ones that are paid
12.
hourly. You got 12 of them?
We are for the first time in years, we are at a full, for grounds crew and everything else for the
Grounds
first.
crew, I guess that's what I meant.
Yeah, grounds crew, yes. As a
About
matter of
12.
fact, we were, I may be mistaken, but for the first time in a long time, we are fully staffed. We don't
Okay.
have an opening, although that'll change here shortly because
Mike,
we are
now,
losing one.
my other question, and that's fine. You know, this is a heavy time of year. I don't have to tell you that.
Yeah.
Do we give these people vacation when we are really busy?
To answer your question.
Vacation. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
do we schedule vacation, let's say between October and March?
Yes.
2 weeks in a row, let's say. I mean, I can understand it.
I know where you're going, so on. Typically we have not, but it did happen. So on. So to answer your question, yes.
Yeah, well, if there was a way to schedule them, instead of 2-1 and say, look, this is a busy time of year, you want to work, or,
Yep.
you know, you
No,
can stay
agree.
home.
Agree.
Okay. Your kitchen staff. All right. You know, I've always complained about
Yep.
that. I mean, that's no secret. I eat there. I had to complain. This morning, you had 2 employees and, okay, I can understand no one's at the counter asking for a drink, but they're both sitting there on their telephones instead of cleaning the kitchen in the back or doing something. Act like you're doing something. You know,
Telephone
I mean,
issue.
if you could follow up with those guys, I mean, I'm
Yep.
not saying they're not polite or, you know, the food sucks, but that's besides the point. The point is that the other people see them.
Yeah.
Our customers see them sitting back there, and it just doesn't look right.
Okay.
I should stop here maybe. I've got a whole bunch more.
Can I say something? I have a problem with the cell phone use because they're public servants. It's taxpayers' money.
Mhm.
They're there to do a job, and if they're spending hours on the phone, we need to do something about that. In the kitchen, perception is everything. People see you on the phone while you're taking care of a customer, or even if you're not doing anything, they see you on the
Oh,
phone.
it pisses me
That
off.
just doesn't look right.
No, agreed.
I mean, we carry these things with us all the time. It's a bad thing. However, they're getting paid to do a job between whatever hours they're contracted to work, or y'all pay them, but it's taxpayers' money. And if something is falling behind, and when you do the math with so many employees and everybody stealing an hour away from you, that means something's not being done. You're gonna come back and you say, I wasn't able to finish my task. Why? At the end of the day, because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, and maybe the quality of the food would be better if they spend more time working with that than being on the phone. Like Jaime says, I have never seen that, but
I'm
I
there
can
all
imagine
the time.
going somewhere and you're waiting for somebody to take care of you and they're on the phone. That just doesn't look right. In private industry, I'm pretty sure that's something that they push wherever we've worked. I know at our job, we have cameras watch people, somebody's watching you. You know what, you can put a sign on the tractor says, if I'm on my phone, call the office. Put some sort of a warning sign to our staff to say, you can't be doing this, guys. You have to be discreet about these sort of things. You're gonna use it every now and then. We understand emergencies, that happens, but they're there to do a job.
The only thing with that is that these guys need to communicate with the clubhouse. So I would say maybe look into some Motorola's or something. Because,
Which guys?
well, your
grounds
guys that
crew?
are out there.
Do they have
grounds guys.
walkie-talkies?
No, the grounds crew does not have walkie-talkies to communicate with each other. They do not.
I mean, those
They've
things.
never had, as far as to my
I mean,
knowledge.
that's an excellent point.
How many would you need?
You know?
6, 10?
No, he's got 10 outside.
All at the same time?
No, but not all. Yeah, all
See,
you need is the crew guys.
I have an
You got
issue
groups of 3.
with the restaurant people doing that because that's where y'all convene. I mean, if they're doing that in front of the public.
They're not doing it in front of the
Oh,
public.
okay.
No, they're behind the counter.
Yeah.
I have one more item, if you don't mind.
Go
And
ahead.
this concerns, that hold in front of the golf club. The big hole, the 6-footer, what
Oh.
you're doing, the repair.
Yeah.
And you started that in December, about the middle of December, right?
Somewhere before when it blew. Yeah, to a latter part of December, third
Yeah.
week, we'll say.
Still not done.
No, it got done today.
Oh, it got done today?
Yes.
Okay. I was there, I think it was Public Works or Parks. Somebody
Monday.
was there doing some repair work.
Monday, Monday, according to, after I know I wasn't there, but I think it was Monday, they came out and they repaired it, but they created another problem after that. But
Well, I think it was Monday,
Yeah.
but I didn't see a single staff member from the golf course with those people there. Nobody was there. They were working by themselves. Nobody overseeing the job or saying, I know how this runs and you guys, all you're doing is helping me repair it. No one. And I wasn't there long. I just,
Okay.
I can't say that nobody was there. There was no one there
Well,
when they
the
were doing
time
the
you were
work.
there.
Pardon me?
There was no one there during the time you were there.
And while those people were there doing the repair.
Okay.
Are you in, Efrain, on salary, not hourly, right?
Correct,
Contract or whatever.
correct.
So like
But
Efrain's
when
supposed to
you-
work 40 hours?
Hmm?
Efrain's supposed to work 40 hours?
Mhm.
So all the employees do the time cards, and I don't know that the city does the same thing, but you don't have to sign out.
They're exempt employees, probably.
Exempt.
Okay. But you have to punch in,
They
don't you?
still, well, I don't know if they have a.
Do you have to punch in?
Yes.
But you don't have to punch
Again,
out.
That this is getting into, I mean,
They don't get overtime.
They
If they work
don't.
50 hours, they work 50 hours.
I'm not sure where we're treading with this. but
Okay,
when we
I'm
start
gonna tell you
talking
where, I'm
about-
gonna tell you where I'm
When we
threading
start
with.
talking personnel,
Yeah,
that's,
I'm
that's a
gonna,
non-issue.
I'm gonna
It's a
say,
non-issue.
uh, I've seen, for example, on weekends, Efrain comes in early. You don't work, you don't work.
I mean, no, pues, you can't be
Okay.
talking about,
sorry.
Yes.
staff
I
itself.
apologize.
You can talk generalities about the operation, all that, but you
No,
can't be
well, that's-
discussing
I'm
employees.
sorry, I withdraw.
But,
Mr. Chairman, on Monday, was it a city holiday?
yeah. It was a holiday, man.
It was a
Monday was
observed by the
Tuesday.
city.
That's
So public work,
So that's overtime.
public source was working though.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Mike, I got one
And-
more question.
And our,
This,
and our next meeting, if we want to discuss personnel issue, we'll put it on the agenda for executive session.
Executive session.
And we'll
Okay,
discuss.
I'm
that, but
sorry.
it's Dealing with personnel. so.
on
Yeah.
this, Winter Texan 3-month green fee packages, is that just for them?
For anybody.
Oh, anybody can get it during
Really?
the time, during the time of year.
No, say
during
somebody
the
wants to
time
try it
of year.
out, they don't want to.
Because we have a single package. We have a monthly single from April through December, so on, that's listed on our rate sheet and everything else, so on. But to answer your question, there's nothing that says that it has to be a winter Texan or it has to be during a specified time. The only thing, specified month. Only thing we say on a 3-month membership is it has to run consecutive.
Right.
You can't
Right.
go,
No,
you
I was
can't
asking in
stop and
case
go,
somebody wants to
start.
try it out,
Yeah,
you know?
start and stop, start and stop. Has to
Still have
be
the
run
punch cards, don't we?
consecutive. Yes, and we have the punch cards.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, 5 cosas que no hablé.
Any other discussion? You can talk about operation, no, we cannot talk about personnel.
Still keep going.
You have other things on dealing with the
No, that's
operation
okay.
of the
We'll,
golf
we'll,
course?
we'll get to it next meeting.
Okay,
I'm done. Thank you.
thank you, Jaime. Anybody else?
Sir, just a couple of things.
Yeah.
Just to dovetail with what he was saying, you're gonna have a staff meeting pretty soon, right, to cover some of this stuff?
Correct.
And I was just, in your talk with the employees, other than, public utilities go out and pick up trash, just get the tractor, get the truck, load up the brush and go, that they need to see themselves as a courteous customer service job. I mean, from first thing in the morning when it's busy to slow, quiet day, to nobody, to a packed day, they need to realize that if they're not taking an advantage of the opportunity of no customer, and then go out there and prepare and get ready for customers. And just to be service minded, the golf course, I don't know how many of those people have been in a service industry where
None.
they're waiting to take care of somebody.
Yeah, none.
And I'd guess every customer that comes in makes time, makes the opportunity available to go and spend 2, 3, 4 hours away from whatever. And they need to understand that that's the importance of their customer service attitude.
Mhm.
And if you can convey that in that first meeting, this is January, it'll work.
Okay. When you listen to Jaime, one of the things that I would recommend is that, to your staff is that if they're on the phone and there's a customer there, get off the phone.
Oh, they do.
Just tell them, hey,
Yeah.
somebody's here,
Yeah.
just get off the phone and call back whoever you need to call.
Yeah.
So that there's no misinterpretation of them being on the phone and not taking care of a customer. I think that's the best policy.
Yeah,
Agree.
my thing was that you don't know if the guy's actually working, calling somebody else, hey, we got this down, or the only way they can communicate is by phone. That's why I was saying,
And
maybe
they
look
do.
into Motorola's, and that'll
Yeah.
cut the phone usage more.
Yeah.
You know, and say, hey, that way you all be in touch and hear what's going on and what needs to be done.
No, that's true. And to a certain point, to a certain degree, that is what happens, because that's how they communicate from the maintenance barn to somebody out on 14 as an example, or stuff
right,
like that.
right.
Hey, they call them on the phone,
That's
can you take
understood.
care of this? Right.
Yeah,
That's
and
understood.
I don't think anybody's gonna complain
No,
if he's on the,
but
you
that's
know,
No.
But there's,
No.
to Jaime's point and everything else, again, to a certain degree, there is probably too much use that is not business, but more pleasure than that. And, and that needs to be just, that just needs to be, in a meeting that needs to be discussed.
Yeah.
So on.
no. And I honestly think if you do have the Motorola's, somebody else, one of the employees are gonna be like a little more hesitant to use their phone because they know they're not supposed to be using the phone, and people are gonna know they're not communicating with the clubhouse or somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They might be like, kind of a deterrent now.
Yeah, and this is a proactive way. I know at our job, our appraisal staff, we reimburse, we give them an allowance for their phones because it's their own private phone. Technically speaking, you shouldn't require your staff to call into the office using their phone, because they could always come back and say, well, I was using it at work and it fell down and it broke, and now they're gonna come back and hold us liable for that. But if we have the alternative, which is probably the easiest thing to do, you use the two-way radios. Hey, you got no reason to have that phone to begin with, and perception is everything. Like I'm telling you,
No,
like
agreed.
people are gonna see you, they're gonna come back, like the commissioner says, they're gonna see a customer, and if they're on the phone, the customer's gonna say, that's not work related. That's personal.
Right.
He shouldn't be on the phone if he needs to take care of me or for whatever reason. Like Mr. Garcia just said, we're public servants, and even in the private industry, your customer is why you're here.
Oh, no doubt.
There is no ifs, ands, or buts, because if you don't have $100,000 a month that you're making from your customer base, they don't have a job.
No doubt. And there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah,
Everybody
and
should-
I
should
can understand when the
that.
phone rings and somebody's taking a tea time. That's fine, I'll wait.
Yeah.
So, but they're on a private phone and they're talking to somebody and waiting for me to.
In fact, hopefully you don't hold back what we're telling, because this is a public meeting.
Yeah.
This is public information.
Sure.
I would say, hey, guys, we might not be doing well because people are thinking that we're not doing our job.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to another place because we're not taking care of them. It trickles down to them. You're only as important as your weakest link. And if they're not doing their job, the customer's never gonna come back. You're never gonna know why. You wanna make sure that's not the reason they don't come back,
Agree.
right?
Agree.
So that's all that I think we're trying to relay here. Hey, customer service, and it's part of the golf course, and if you're on this thing, they're gonna think, well, you're not doing your job.
Agree. No doubt. Agree.
Enough discussion, I think. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Thank you, gentlemen.
In a second?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
Do I have a
Thanks, Mike.
second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, same sign.